Roman is the biggest bad guy character in professional wrestling.
When's the last time you got laid?
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Like, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Can we tell the truth about Dusty sooner or later?
Less people wanted that than are currently watching our stream.
And you know Vince, and you still think, are these true? It's like...
Welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Mark It Down podcast. I emphasize welcome back because, yes, this is the second live I'm doing in about an hour as we are now covering TNA Victory Road. This was no lie, no exaggeration, no hyperbole. Yes, I said hyperbole. That's an inside joke for like 5 people. So I'll say it the right way for everybody. No hyperbole. This was an excellent, incredible, wow to wow to wow type of match, type of night. TNA absolutely delivering with a very fun event that had multiple contenders for match of the night. Shockingly, across divisions, whether it was for the world title, the X Division title, or even non-title, just a good old-fashioned grudge match. We got some excellent action tonight here at Victory Road. The road is building to Bound for Glory, which will be in October. And while that is the big event of the year, man, did TNA deliver tonight with Victory Road. I cannot emphasize it enough. Go watch this show. Go watch this event. Just absolute mastery in these matchups. I'm not really going to go over the pre-show tonight, guys. I do apologize for that. I'm just kind of tired, if I'm going to be honest with you. Nothing super eventful happened. And even one of them we'll talk about as the show goes on because it gets addressed in the show itself. But yeah, man. You see, I'm tired. But just from start to finish, great action. First match of the night, we had the Hardys, Matt, Jeff, our favorite tag team here at the Mark It Down podcast. That isn't the main event, of course. Taking on First Class, AJ Francis, and Casey Navarro. Casey Navarro, who has stepped it up in Rich Swann's absence. I'm a big fan of Casey Navarro. We big fans here at the pod of him. We've seen him in person. We've seen him live at events like House of Glory and Revolver. This kid has a great future in front of him. He is a great talent, and we are rooting for him here. And showings like tonight remind me why. Right out the gate, Navarro very much learning the lesson. You fuck around and you find out. As he was mocking the Hardys, doing the Jeff Hardy dance. I got to be careful with it, so I apologize. Just with my shoulder, guys. I can only afford 10 dislocations. 11, and it just gets awkward. But mocking Jeff with the dance, mocking Matt with the kind of thing, and it was great stuff. But he did find out as the Hardys quickly took advantage of the newcomers' over exuberance, his over excitement, and they remind him why they are one of the best tag teams of all time. Just double teaming the kid and hitting move after move, classic Hardy stuff. But the tide did turn after Francis got involved, distracting Matt on the outside, Matt getting back in the ring and then getting sort of hung on the rope, and Navarro hitting a big over the rope drop kick from the inside of the ring to the apron to Matt's head. At this point, AJ Francis tags in and he uses his weight and size to his advantage, keeping Matt down. He was able to regroup after Matt was able to regroup after Francis went to the top rope and attempted his own version of the Swanton Bomb. Again, mocking the Hardys. These guys they're not learning their lessons here, apparently. Both men, Matt is able to hit a big, he's able to dodge the Swanton. It was a nice Swanton. I got to give it to Francis. It was a nice attempt at the move. but Matt is able to dodge it, and both men make hot tags, but Jeff definitely has more momentum on his side going against the young Casey Navarro. Jeff goes for several pin attempts using his patented leg drops, the one to the groin, then the other one that he hits from the top of the head where he keeps the legs pinned. Love that move. But Navarro is able to kick out of all of them. Then Jeff goes for a twist of fate, but he's caught by Francis, who drops him with a world's strongest slam. Francis then attempts to go to the top rope again, but he's caught by Matt, allowing both Hardys to hit a big, big double superplex onto Francis. Coming off of that superplex, Jeff still selling. Again, I told you guys in the SmackDown one, superplexes are going to hurt you no matter the size. As Jeff is recovering from hitting the move onto Francis, Casey Navarro comes out of nowhere and hits a big frog splash, but that gets interrupted by Matt saving his brother and the team in this matchup. Matt then goes for a twist of fate, but gets caught into another attempted choke slam, which gets countered into a double DDT by both Hardys. Then Jeff then hits his sort of like dropping twist of fate, the one that sort of is more of like a stunner, and that bounces Navarro into a neck breaker by Matt Hardy. I really enjoyed this tag team move from the Hardys. To my recollection, I have not seen it before. Maybe they've been busting it out here in TNA, but it was a great looking move. Jeff hitting a twist of fate, bouncing Navarro into a neck breaker by Matt. Matt then hits a twist of fate of his own, setting up Jeff for the Swanton Bomb, and the 1-2-3 getting the win. The Hardys getting a big win in this tag division, as the tag team division itself is certainly in a tumultuous place. Switching gears, we are now going to the X division. Guys, this was the first of what I would consider 3 potential match of the night candidates here. Excellent action between these 2 X division stars. I'm almost hesitant to really even try to explain what happened, just because so much action happened, so much back and forth. Out the gate, we're seeing Speedball not necessarily cocky, but very confident, bringing the fight to the young X Division champion in Zachary Wentz. Wentz doing his best to not let the former X Division champion get in his head. As they're going back and forth with the running moves, back and forth with the diving moves. It's Speedball who sort of gets the early advantage with a big kick that drops Wentz. But Wentz, again, like I said, not allowing himself to get caught up, challenges Speedball to hit him again. I struggle to say if there was any man who was really controlling the match or controlling the pace. Like I said, these guys were really going back and forth. Wentz did gain some success early on by by really trying to get aggressive, hitting a snapmare driver onto the ramp. Bailey was barely able to make the 10 count to continue the fight, and that's just how desperate the X Division champion was to retain his title in this aggressive match. Wentz went for a swanton of his own, and Speedball was able to put his knees up to block it. Eventually, again, it's really hard for me to get into everything, but the finish came after a flamingo driver from the corner from Speedball Mike Bailey onto Zachary Wentz. We now have a 3-time X Division champion in Speedball. I'm a little conflicted on this result. First of all, I never wanted Speedball to lose the belt in the first place. Commentary made a big point of it earlier in the matchup, saying with Tom Hannafin saying that it's not that Speedball was acting cavalier, but he was definitely acting maybe a little brazen in just how confident he was in putting that X Division championship on the line in Ultimate X. And I thought that was an interesting story to then have him lose that X Division championship to somebody, possibly noting his overconfidence. In the end, it kind of seems that they just wanted to have the X Division title on Zachary Wentz when he fought his old MSK partner, Wes Lee, at the NXT pay-per-view a couple of weeks ago. Personally, that to me is never a reason to change championships. that match that he had with Wesley, as great as it was a good matchup. It wasn't even for the X Division Championship. It was just a matchup. And I get TNA wanting to present their best talent, and having the X Division champion there is a big deal on WWE TV, but it just wasn't necessary. And then to have him lose it back to Speedball just a couple of weeks later, I'm just not thrilled with it. Good for Zachary Wentz that he can now say he is a former X Division champion. Good for Zachary Wentz to add that to his resume, and he is a great talent. I'm sure more X Division championships are in his future. I am sure more tag team championships are in his future with Trey Miguel, their partnership in the Rascals. But this was weird, unfortunate booking to me. But I am happy. I guess we're back with Speedball as champion. There are some rumors that his contract is going to be running out very soon with TNA. I think as early as October. So as early as next month. So either they're very confident that he is going to re-sign, or this is kind of an old example of TNA making a silly decision with the championship. We'll see. We'll see. I've been advocating for Speedball to be highlighted on a grander stage for a long time. I know Kenny Omega wants Speedball in AEW, and I would love to see that matchup personally. But him leaving TNA is really going to hurt their X Division. So no matter what, good luck to Speedball. And maybe he does stay. But I guess we'll find out in a month or so. We then went to what was supposed to be. This header is actually wrong at the bottom, guys, so I apologize. It was supposed to be PCO and Rhino taking on Deathmatch Royalty, that being Matt Cardona and Steph DeLander, PCO's wife. That matchup was supposed to happen, but Steph DeLander had a bit of an announcement to make. SDL talks about, she gets in the ring, she's wearing a jersey that says property of Matt Cardona. And she makes it clear she is not his property, but she has more to say. SDL talks about her career and describes it as a dream. She's proud to be here in TNA. She's proud to be here alongside her heroes, gesturing to Rhino, PCO, and Cardona. And she's proud to be with this crowd in San Antonio. This sold-out crowd, by the way. Good for TNA. There have been lots of ups and downs, and Cardona and PCO need to figure things out, but she has an announcement to make. She announces that, unfortunately, she needs neck surgery. She didn't want to let anyone down, but she is always in pain, describing waking up every day just in constant pain. She says Cardona may be a jerk, but he's still her best friend. He found her at her lowest and took her to her highest. She then thanks him. SDL then goes to PCO and says that she never expected to find true love in TNA, but is so happy that she has, and this fighting isn't healthy for her or for anyone. She wants both men to figure out their problems, but without her. That she says this isn't a retirement speech. She's not done. She has more to give to this business and this company and to the fans. But, which, by the way, let me say, kind of screw you to the fans in this instance, because they were giving her the what chant during this promo. And damn, if it's not storyline, if this isn't a swerve to help her sort of screw PCO on Cardona's side, I hope y'all feel ashamed of yourselves during a injury announcement speech. Just terrible. She says this isn't goodbye, this is see you later, and she loves us all. It's at this point that PCO and SDL walk out of the ring and they go up the ramp, leaving the arena. As Rhino is about to leave the ring, Cardona kicks the ropes from underneath him, low blowing him, and then hitting him with the radio silence. So this feud is definitely going to continue in some shape or form with SDL or without her. I think Cardona would be better as the digital media champion than PCO. I love PCO. I think there are other things he could do. I think there are other fun storylines he could have, but I don't think the digital media championship should be around him as opposed to a guy like Cardona, who is all about social media and is all about, I guess, digital media. Let's see. We have a comment here. Hi, Beck. Thank you for being here, friend. Love ya. And the only one in that Discord who is cool. Everyone else, awful. But yeah, I'm rooting for I'm rooting for Cardona to win the championship off of PCO. But more importantly, more important than anything else, I am rooting for SDL to make a healthy recovery. Hopefully, she's not gone for too long. Neck surgery isn't anything to scoff at. It's nothing to joke about. So, wishing her the best. Hope to see her soon, whether it's a TNA or in the Indies. Going back, I had a backstage segment which I skipped. Not skipped, but I don't think I put a header, so I do apologize. We have a system promo. They say everything is bigger in Texas, and Myers and Edwards will become two-time champions. JDC says it's time to get weird. And then Moose finishes things off by saying everyone is looking at the future four-time world champion. Alicia then puts the cherry on top, saying it's hard to replace her, but Tasha Steelz will be a good placeholder for her in the tag team title match later on tonight, as Alicia was not medically cleared for the matchup. Masha Slamovich has a new partner, a temporary partner in this alliance with Tasha Steelz. I like Tasha, so it's fine. Better, no disrespect to Alicia, but it's probably better than what Alicia would have contributed to the match one way or the other. Moving forward, I think we actually do go to, we do go to that knockouts match. See, this is what happens when I miss things, when I don't put the headers on correctly. That's my bad, guys. But we do have Masha Slamovich and Tasha Steelz defending the knockouts tag team titles against Spitfire. Spitfire being the former champions, and Spitfire dealing with a stipulation for this matchup that if they lose, the team must split forever. It's kind of a monkey's paw, isn't it? Like, you guys know, I am sick of seeing the same teams go over and over and over one another, whether it was the Death Dolls or Militia or Spitfire. I feel, or at one point it was MK Ultra before Killer Kelly had to leave. But by the way, congratulations to Killer Kelly, who announced about a week ago or so on social media that she is expecting. That's right, Killer Kelly, a mama to be, wishing you and your family nothing but happiness, health, and good fortune here from the Mark It Down podcast. All the best to Killer Kelly, and hopefully we see her back in a ring sooner than later, but good for her. But regardless, back to this tag team matchup. The match was fine. It was 11 minutes. I just don't think any of these, like, I don't really know how much chemistry Spitfire had with Masha and of course with Alicia. I think Tasha definitely brought in a new level of energy to this. At one point, it did look like Spitfire was in trouble when Slamovich hit a big snowplow onto Threat, but Danny Luna was able to slam Tasha into the pin to break it up. Spitfire then fired up with some double team offense, and they finished off Masha with a powerbomb neckbreaker combo that got them the win. They are now two-time TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions. The real story coming after the bell, as Masha is being berated by Alicia Edwards. Alicia, who wasn't cleared for the match, but is blaming Masha for the loss, getting in her face, yelling at her, cursing her out, and pointing her finger right in her face. Eventually, Masha has enough, grabs Alicia by the finger, pushes her into the corner, and that's when Tasha Steelz gets involved, protecting Alicia, and then hitting a big cutter to drop Masha. So I guess Alicia is down with the system. She believes in the system, and she is going to be Alicia's new tag team partner moving forward. I am happy about this on a lot of fronts. One, Tasha is a great knockout and quite frankly has been a little directionless for the last year or so. So I am happy to see her involved in such a main event group, even if she's not part of the system, the same way Masha Slamovich wasn't part of the system. I'm happy to see her be a part of it. But more importantly, I am happy to see Masha away from Alicia. Obviously, this is going to be a feud that continues. I'm sure at some point Masha will have some backup to take out Tasha and Alicia. It's not going to be Killer Kelly, but I'm sure she will get some backup. That said, I heavily am in the camp of Masha being the person to take the Knockouts World Championship off of Jordynne Grace. I'm not saying it needs to happen next week. I'm not saying it needs to happen even at Bound for Glory. But by the time Jordynne is ready to drop that belt, it should be to Masha Slamovich. I don't want to see it be to an NXT contender. There's nobody else really on the TNA Knockouts roster who is quite frankly worthy of it at this point. And I think Masha has more than put her time in and has more than earned her opportunity to be the next Knockouts champion. Moving on, we had, I believe it was the tag team. Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. Our second contender for match of the night as Joe Hendry. He'll show up anywhere but here. Takes on Josh Alexander in a gnarly grudge match. This stemming from the World Championship match 2 pay-per-views ago, as that was when we saw Josh Alexander turn heel after and take Joe Hendry out of the title match, low blowing him, bloodying him up, and seeing this new side of Josh. Quite frankly, I thought this match should have happened at the last pay-per-view. I thought it was a little silly that Joe didn't go for his revenge even earlier. That's fine. I think it was worth the wait because this match absolutely delivered. Out the gate, Josh is just out wrestling Joe Hendry. Let me start with the promo that happened before, because it's not a Joe Hendry match unless he actually cuts a promo before the match. Joe Hendry says that Josh Alexander doesn't think Joe Hendry has what it takes to be the face of TNA. He thinks Joe Hendry doesn't have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with him. But Joe Hendry doesn't define himself by people like him. How can he when he has an entire arena chanting, "We believe"? And we do believe, Joe. We do believe in you. The crowd is absolutely eating it up. He says that they believe in the answer to all of life's problems. They believe in Joe Hendry. One day. I mean it. One day, and everyone will rejoice. But out the gate, both men tie up, and Josh out-wrestles Hendry pretty handily. Over and over, kind of either pushing him down, pushing him into the corner, dropping him with classic amateur wrestling holds. At this point, Hendry gets frustrated, and he shoves Josh into the corner. The crowd then calls Josh a walking wiener. At least they're selling out, right? It doesn't. I don't think it necessarily matters the quality of the people going, but at least they're selling out. Walking wiener. Both men then trade the advantage, going headlock for headlock, running hit for running hit. Eventually, though, the momentum shifts after Hendry hits a massive stalling suplex that I think he held for like 20 plus seconds, close to 30 seconds. This sends Josh out of the ring, who's trying to gain some time and to recover. Hendry chases after him and follows him back into the ring, where Josh is able to get the upper hand and throw Hendry back to the floor. The fight continues, and Josh hits a big kick to the head back in the ring. Hendry goes for a sunset flip pin, but gets caught in an ankle lock. After breaking out, he goes for another pin, but then is caught into a German suplex. Josh slows things down with multiple rest holds, finally locking in a guillotine onto Hendry. Hendry is eventually able to fight out of it and counters with a big suplex and builds momentum in his fight with the walking weapon. Hendry then sends Josh into the corner, where he attempts to climb the ropes and hit a diving dropkick that Hendry simply sidesteps a la Samoa Joe. He definitely read from the book of Joe there, and it just looked hilarious. Absolutely great move. Hendry follows this up with a big fall-away slam, and then he sets up for the standing ovation, which Josh is able to counter. After running the ropes, he is caught by Hendry with a big pop-up powerbomb, though, only able to get to 2. Hendry then hypes up the crowd and goes for the standing ovation once more, but Josh runs to the outside. Hendry follows him, and after a brief back and forth, hits him with a big trust fall onto the floor. This was a gnarly bump that Josh took. He was really selling for Hendry here. They both make their way back to the ring, and Josh is finally able to get the upper hand again and continues to focus on the lower back that he had injured earlier in the match with a big backbreaker onto Hendry. Josh then goes for the C4 spike, but Hendry is able to fight out of it. Josh goes up top where he's caught by Hendry. Hendry then follows him and goes for a superplex that Josh is able to fight out of. Josh then tries another big move, but Joe catches him with a fall-away slam from the second rope, but is only able to get a 2 count. Josh eventually catches Hendry with a long and extended ankle lock, but Hendry is able to eventually escape, getting to the ropes, and the crowd is firmly behind him here. Both men trade blows and fight in the corner. Josh takes, at this point, inadvertently, maybe, I don't know, he's a heel, pushes Hendry into the referee. They counter one another until Hendry catches Josh with an ankle lock. And it was interesting. It was sort of a reverse ankle lock. It wasn't the traditional positioning where you're like facing the body. Josh contorted himself and turned around that he's facing outward, and he sort of turned it into a Boston leg, a Boston crab. Cool. I don't think I've ever seen it like that before, but it looked awesome. It's at this point, wowza, he makes Josh tap out. But the referee isn't around to see it. Hendry is obviously frustrated, but he doesn't allow it to rattle him. He goes for a standing ovation, but Josh is able to counter it and hit a low blow, kicking him in the groin. Very similar to what happened in their last bout in the pay-per-view for the world title. But Joe Hendry is a smart man. He is an educated man, and he knows what he needs to do. This time, he springs back up, spins to the camera, and he reveals to all of us he is, in fact, wearing a jockstrap. He's wearing a cup. He's got a cup. And not only is he wearing a cup, the cup has his face on it. We're brilliant, beautiful, spectacular. Everybody ate this up. The crowd went wild. It's at this point Josh then rushes at Hendry, but Hendry catches him with a standing ovation. He then puts Josh in that same ankle lock he had before, and he forces him to tap out a second time. That is insanity to me that they made Josh tap out twice. Don't get me wrong. Hendry needed this win. He looked amazing. Coming off of the big title loss at NXT for the NXT World Championship and failing to win the TNA World Championship so far. He needs to look strong, as we're all predicting he is going to go for the World Championship at Bound for Glory. But damn, Josh, 2 tap outs? That's crazy. But good for Joe Hendry. Good for Josh Alexander for being the consummate professional. And it was announced later in the show that Joe Hendry will address the TNA audience this Thursday on Impact. So time will tell what he'll say, but I'm very excited to see the build to Bound for Glory right now. We then go to the tag team title match of the night. Actually, I'm going to go back. I missed one backstage segment with Gia Miller. Me and Gia Miller, hardest working woman in TNA, interviewed backstage with the world champion, Nic Nemeth. Nick says that it's another sold out show and the fans are excited, but this is big for him. It's a huge responsibility. He wanted to help TNA get to new heights, and last time he faced Moose kicked his ass. But he wants to prove to the fans that he is a fighting champion and that TNA is the place to be, and he will walk out still, you're fighting TNA World Champion. Good promo from Nemeth. Good promo from the Most Dangerous Man. I'll say he delivered, I think, later on, but we'll get to that as we get there. We then had a Jake something and Hammerstone backstage promo where they say they talk about what happened in the pre-show where they beat Steve Macklin and Eric Young. Jesus Christ, I cannot get a win when it comes to Macklin. There is just no built momentum for this guy. You guys know I'm a big Macklin fan. Granted, I'm also a huge fan of Jake something, and I'm really getting impressed on a weekly basis by Hammerstone, who I would like to say, I hated the NXT appearance. I'm so happy for him that a new audience is going to get to see him. I'm so happy for him that they got to see the basic version of Hammerstone and that there's so much more to come from this guy. But I hated that they essentially jobbed him out to Obafemi. I love Obafemi. He is killing it in NXT as the North American champion. He is a beast, and I understand on WWE's side wanting to feed monsters to their monster. But man, if I'm Hammerstone, that had to fucking suck. Pardon my French, I do apologize, but Jesus, I was so let down by the appearance. Happy for the pop, happy for the recognition, but that was not the match for Hammerstone. Just absolute silliness. Absolute silliness. But anyway, let's get back to the action here in TNA as the TNA World Tag Team Championships were on the line as the ABC defended against the former champions, the System. So at this point now, the tag team titles went from the ABC to the System, and now we're having this match again. This was definitely a 3-act match. As we saw in the very beginning, the ABC, who, by the way, let's give a little bit of backstory. Last night on Impact, Chris Bay was injured by the System, his ribs getting beaten up and beaten down by the System, making him very vulnerable for this matchup. But as we get to this matchup, the beginning sees the ABC teaming up to take out Brian Myers, keeping him at bay. Whether it was 1-on-1 or 2-on-1, they controlled the action for the first part of the matchup. As things take a huge turn, we see Chris Bay on the outside after having thrown out Eddie Edwards get distracted by Alicia Edwards as he's skinning the cat. As he's skinning the cat and he's getting ready to make the turn up, he is upside down holding the ropes when Brian Myers comes through with a gigantic spear, like massive, sending Bay flying to the outside. It was a great move from Brian Myers, the most professional wrestler. Just great bit. And from there on out, we're in Act 2 of this match where they did everything they could to isolate Bay, keeping him away from Ace Austin, just absolutely doing the damage to those injured ribs of one half of the tag team champions. After a very long instance of keeping him at bay, after a very long instance of holding the advantage, we then see the match sort of deteriorate into, I don't want to say a tornado tag, but definitely felt that way. All four men going at it, one after one another. It wasn't until Myers laid out Austin with a roster cut lariat that we then see Bay being stuck in this 2-on-1 situation again. He gets hooked on the foot by Alicia Edwards. This allows Meyer to hit a spear onto Bay, setting him up for the Boston Knee Party from Eddie Edwards. And the System are now 2-time tag team champions. I'm not thrilled with this. You guys know I love the ABC. You know I love Bay. You know I love Austin. I think they're trying to set up a bigger story with the System, which we'll talk about as we get further into the show and further into the main event. But I really did think this was an excellent matchup. It went around 16 minutes, lots of action on all sides. Nobody looked bad. ABC is protected. I am getting worried, though, that we might be seeing the expiration date for the ABC rapidly approaching. I believe they're 3-time TNA tag team champions at this point. I don't know what more there really is for them to do as a tag team in TNA. Maybe if you want to see them cross over to NXT and feud for the NXT tag titles, you could do that. But I think sooner than later, we're going to see these guys split up, possibly feud. It's been teased a couple of times. I don't particularly want to see it, although I know that match is going to be amazing. But regardless, whether it's a tag team or as singles, you know I'm rooting for both men of the ABC, and it's going to be a great future for both of them, God willing. Moving forward, We then had our TNA Knockouts World Championship match as Jordynne Grace took on NXT's Wendy Choo. Now, Wendy Choo is actually a performer I am familiar with. NXT sending over a big gun in Wendy Choo. Very popular, very good in the ring. And this was a fun matchup. This absolutely delivered. The Sleepy Psycho, as she is as known as in NXT, really took the fight to the women's champion here. The match didn't go too long. It was around 10 minutes, but they really did get their stuff in. They really did put on the best match that they could. She had a big belly-to-belly superplex and then a brainbuster, but Grace is able to kick out of that. Chu slapped on a sleeper chokehold. That is her finish. Grace was able to power up and break free and then hit a big power bomb to set up for the Juggernaut driver, getting the 1-2-3. I know I didn't do a great job of explaining this matchup. I do apologize. Like I said, I was going back and forth between SmackDown and Victory Road, but this match did deliver. Like I said, I wish they had gotten maybe another 4 to 5 minutes to really let it breathe, but they absolutely put on a great showing. I want to see more of Wendy Choo, and what happened after the match definitely dictates that I think we will. As after the match, as Jordynne Grace is celebrating another successful title defense, she is speared out of nowhere by Rosemary. Rosemary, who had recently made an excursion of her own to NXT. After hitting that spear onto Jordynne, Wendy then slaps on another sleeper, and the referees have to break it up. I love this. I love this. Granted, it does sort of feel like, hey, we're going to throw another tag team title reign onto Rosemary if she's teaming up with Wendy Choo, but these two women absolutely jive. Their gimmicks are similar, their vibes are similar, and I think Wendy could learn a lot from Rosemary, this veteran. This is one of the good things about TNA going to NXT. These young kids, these younger wrestlers are going to have a wellspring to learn from, to gain knowledge from. So good showing here. A tag team that wouldn't have happened if there wasn't this cross promotion between the two brands, the two companies. This is this crossover going well. This is a great example of the crossover. More of this, and I'm going to be more excited for TNA, NXTNA. That's how the kids are calling it, right? Before we get to our main event, we had a cute backstage segment as Santino Marella, the director of authority of TNA, met with the liaison from NXT, Ariana Grace. And if you know, you know, Ariana Grace is Santino Marella's daughter. He greeted her with a big hug and said how proud he was of her. She told him to keep it professional. Santino was happy about her being a liaison between TNA and NXT. And as she walked off, he looked like he was about to cry. Beautiful moment, fun moment, silly moment. And I'm hoping to see more of these two interacting in the future. Healthy, positive family relationships in professional wrestling. Let's try to maintain that. We then go to our main event. Oh, we got a comment here. Dragoon saying he loves the Gym Pack Zone. Dragoon, we love you. We miss you. This face, it's nice. It would be great if there was a second face. I got to be careful with my shoulder. It'd be great if there was a second face on the screen as well. It could be you, Dragoon. It could be you. But we move over to our main event, as we have the TNA World Championship on the line as the most dangerous man, Nic Nemeth, defends against Moose. Will Nic Nemeth believe in the system, or will the system crash and Moose continue to flounder? This was a messy match, but it was a fun one. This felt like the TNA of old, the TNA of yesteryear. There was interference, there was big spots, there was mayhem, there was calamity. For some inexplicable reason, Frankie Kazarian got on commentary. Mike Santana made the save as JDC and Alicia were causing interference. We saw, of course, the new tag team champions, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards, try to get involved and help Moose win, but they were thwarted by the return of JBL. Yep, the return of JBL, making his second appearance in TNA. on TNA pay-per-view, successfully helping Nic Nemeth as he hits massive clothesline from Hells onto Myers and Edwards on the outside. And may I say, the duster is working for him. It just is. Eventually, after hitting a big famouser, I'm sorry, that's when that's when Myers and Edwards got ejected by the referee and JBL came out. But eventually, Moose gives a big spear to Nemeth, only getting the 2 count, though, before trading blows and allowing Nemeth to hit the danger zone and get the pin on Moose. Again, I'm not doing this match justice. I apologize. It was a half-hour long. While I was doing the review for SmackDown Live on the air, I was watching both. This match absolutely delivered. Half hour of greatness between these two, give or take. Moose showing why he's Mr. TNA. Moose showing again why he has the biggest contract in TNA history. And Nemeth having, I believe this is his 4th successful title defense in 55 days, maybe 56 days, tying Moose's number of defenses in his title reign. So Nemeth is really packing in the defenses in a short time. Maybe that's because he is destined to lose it at Bound for Glory against Joe Hendry. But a good title reign for the Most Dangerous Man. Happy to see Santana get involved after not getting booked on the show, which I think was a weird decision. They could have easily done him versus JDC in a quick matchup, but I guess they wanted to keep it tight. Good showing between both men. I mentioned earlier, I found it weird that we saw the System win the tag titles again, and now we're seeing that Moose didn't win the World Championship. I don't know if this means that maybe we'll see Moose get booted from the System. System reboot. Man, so many puns to make. But time will tell on what the future of Moose at the System is. He has unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, because I didn't want him to win, he has fortunately not won the World Championship, but unfortunately, Edwards and Myers did win the Tag Team Championships. So let's see. That said, who could replace Moose at the top of the System? It ain't going to be JDC. If it is, that group is doomed. And I'm liking him right now. I actually really am. But no, it can't be him. But maybe Josh. I don't know. Feels weird too. Regardless of all of that, this was an excellent pay-per-view from TNA. They absolutely over-delivered, in my opinion, having a lot of fun with multiple matchups. Go check out that X Division title match between Speedball and Zachary Wentz. Go check out that tag team title match between the ABC and the System. And go check out this main event between Nic Nemeth and Moose. And of course, Jordan Grace and Wendy Chu killed it. I just wish they had more time. But guys, that was Victory Road. I'm tired. I'm exhausted, but I had so much fun watching wrestling tonight, and I had so much fun sharing my Friday night with you guys. You guys know the deal. If you're new here, please like and subscribe. It means so much to us. It means we know we're doing something right. And we have fun with the more people there are. The more of you there are, the more fun we get to have, the more fun things we get to do. And as our regulars know, we don't just cover TNA. We cover all professional wrestling. We cover WWE. We cover AEW. We cover TNA. When big things are happening in New Japan, I cover that to the best of my ability. Time zones are a bitch. But yeah, and if you're having fun with us here, know you can follow us on social media. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on X. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on TikTok. I think there might be another one that I keep forgetting, but I'm old. I'm old, guys. Those are all the ones I really use. Even then, I don't use really all of them. My hip hurts. But I do want to close out this show again. We did promise you guys, once we hit 1,000, which we are over now, thank you, that we were going to have some fun stuff for you. So I'm going to announce our big TNA giveaway. We are having, can you believe it? Now, let's see this comment. Feather Snitch, I know who you are, and I appreciate you for being here, you lovely, lovely lady. Thank you so much. Means a lot to me. We are going to be doing our big TNA giveaway, and if you can believe it, it is for Joe Hendry. That's right. We are doing a big TNA giveaway. We are announcing it tonight, and I'm not sure if we're going to pull the plug and actually get it rolling, but you know what? Yeah, screw it. If you watch this video, leave a comment. Tell me what your favorite match of the night was. Tell me what you enjoyed about the show, and let me know that you're following us for a second chance at winning. We are giving away a Joe Hendry autograph and an exclusive Joe Hendry t-shirt. That's right. Pro Wrestling Tees put out this shirt for 1 hour. 1 hour. And we were able to grab one. That way we could give it to you guys. It's going to come in either large or extra large. So it's up to you. You dictate what size you'd like. All you have to do is like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe. That's 2 entries. And if you comment, that's a 3rd entry. I'm trying to give you guys this stuff. So please go take it. But as always, I am James Gisanti. This is the Mark It Down podcast. And when we cover TNA, what are we? We are the Gym Pack Zone. As always, I love you. Good night. Goodbye. Bang. God, I miss Kenny Omega. Watch wrestling. And of course, watch TNA. Have a good night, guys.